What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Chris Moore, and in today's video we got a 2021 Yamaha MT07 that we just installed an Akrapovic full exhaust. This bike is brand hammer new. The pipe is brand hammer new as well. Look at that. Can you see it? Yep, you can see it just a little bit. The pipe is smoking a little bit where we got the bike hot with the exhaust on it for the first time. So this muffler's still kind of breaking in, burning the new off of it, but overall, what an improvement this has been from the factory exhaust system. The factory exhaust, super quiet and super restricted with the catalytic converter and stuff in there. We have removed all that stuff, and this thing definitely has got a really good sound now and should be a big improvement on horsepower. Unfortunately, we did not get to dyno it with the factory exhaust system, but we're going to be unrestricting the ECU in this thing, dialing in the air-fuel ratio, and smoothing out the on-off throttle problem these bikes have. When you let off the throttle, boom, crazy heavy engine braking. The thing falls on its face, wants to throw you forward. We're going to reduce that. I'm going to get into some more details about how we're going to do that and what we're going to do to improve this thing here in just a second. Stay with us, guys. Okay, so we got the engine all warmed up. We're about to do the baseline pull. We haven't changed anything on the tuning side yet. We're gonna run it and see what kind of power this thing puts down. Also keep an eye where it says air-fuel ratio. That's how rich or lean the bike is running. Right now, 18.4, that's as lean as the dyno will read. In other words, it's full lean because it's not running. The lower the number, the richer it is. So 10.0 is richer than 13.0. Anyways, we want to be in the 13s, but just keep an eye on how lean this thing is cruising around. That's where you'll get a little bit of that throttle surge, especially once you put the exhaust on. I'm sure it's not super bad from the factory. They all have that D-cell fuel cut option, meaning when you let off the throttle, they all nosedive. So that's even if you have stock exhaust or aftermarket exhaust. When you put aftermarket exhaust on, it's a little more amplified because the bike is much leaner. We're going to correct all that, take a look, see what we can get. So as you can see, we ended up with 69.84 horsepower and 46 foot-pounds of torque. You can see the bike is fairly lean, meaning not getting enough fuel throughout the whole entire RPM curve. We're gonna correct that with this ECU Flashed. There's not tons of restrictions in the, I guess you would say, throttle plates. This bike doesn't have an electronic throttle. So you don't have that restrictions like you see in some of the ECUs. Where we're going to be able to make improvements with this bike is in the air-fuel ratio and with the ignition timing. We're also going to be able to lower the fan temps, and we're going to be able to turn off that pesky D-cell fuel cut so the bike will ride much smoother. So we're going to gain horsepower, not tons, but we're gonna smooth this thing out a lot, and I think we're gonna gain a good bit of power in the low end that you're gonna see right in here. This bike, it doesn't really do any good to rev it any higher because it makes its peak power at 9,000 even though it revs to 10,000 from the factory. So you're not gonna really gain anything by revving it higher, and where it makes the peak power, this 69.84, the air fuel ratio is not far from being perfect right there. So our peak number is not gonna go up a lot, but we're still gonna get big gains that we may not necessarily see on the dyno. Show you here in a second. Okay, we're making some good progress with this thing. The bike is smoothed out a ton. If you'll keep an eye on the travel of the forks here, you'll see when I let off the throttle, it doesn't nosedive anywhere as bad. And of course, this is not a perfect example, of course, of what it would be on the street because of the actual engine braking. It's gonna be much less on the dyno because the drum is not as heavy as the bike and the rider. But you can still tell a really big difference in how much better it sounds, how much better it accelerates. Everything is going in the right direction. Listen to it and let me know what you think. Just like that, we're finished. We have got the gains on the screen. Before I show you this, I'm gonna show you one more quick thing. We have got, of course, once we flash the ECU on the bike, the ECU is located right here. It sits in a little pocket right there. You do have to pop this little cover off. Not super hard. Takes about 20 or 30 minutes for your first time doing it. But if you take the ECU off on this thing and put it back on, you're gonna have a check engine light, okay? Pretty much all Yamahas are like that. The check engine lights will not clear out on their own either. So I sell this little trusty adapter. This thing right here is on your bike. Hold on a second, I had to use my hand. This little adapter right here plugs into the factory existing adapter that you have here. I sell these on my website. They're cheap. They're like 30 bucks for the scanner and 30 bucks for the adapter. Now, you can clear the code on your own after you buy that, or you can take it to your Yamaha dealer and they're probably gonna hit you for about $100 just to clear the check engine light out. God forbid you do something else to the bike, the check engine light comes back on, boom, there's another hundo down the drain. Get the little adapter yourself, you can clear it on your own. Now you can do simple maintenance and procedures on your motorcycle, and that adapter will work on pretty much all the new bikes. So overall, now look at what we gained. We got a whopping 70.58 horsepower. Now I know you're like, Chris, 1 horsepower? Come on, dude, you know that's not worth it. Well, actually it is, because in the mid-range, we gained a bunch. Now, how many of you guys have MT07s and run it wide open at 9,000 RPMs 24/7? Not many of you. I mean, a lot of you guys are using these things for commuting, getting back and forth to work, and just having fun. This 5,000 to 7,000 RPM, 8,000 RPM range is where you're gonna be a lot of times. So you can see here we picked up 3 and 4 horsepower throughout the entire RPM curve. And then if you go down here to, let's just say 3,500 RPMs, 4,000 RPMs, we went from 43 foot-pounds of torque to 46 foot-pounds of torque. So in percentage-wise, that's about a 10% gain. Not too shabby for the inexpensive price of an ECU Flash. It's not that expensive. Go on our website, check it out, mooremafia.com. All the info is there. There's a video that'll pop up on the screen. It explains all the details for what you need to do to send your ECU in to get it done. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the party. Click the subscribe, click the bell for notifications, smash that like button. As always, guys, we appreciate you watching. Have a good day. See ya.